Norns are being tortured. We ask, why?
And we help you design your own levels for Deus Ex. Plus, Conker is having a bad fur day on your N64. Stick around. It's game time.
Hello and welcome to Extended Play from Electronic Arts in Redwood City, California. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Kate Botello. And right now we are standing in the basketball gym that EA has.
At work.
Yeah. Now, aside from all their sports games, EA also publishes The Sims, and that was one of the most popular games of last year and this year. And sometimes it kind of makes you wonder. For instance, here's a question. Have you ever killed one of your Sims and then felt really bad about it?
It was an accident.
Negligence.
Anyhow, I didn't feel too bad, but many people do develop a sense of affection for their Sims or for characters in similar games like creatures, and they become very upset when they pass away or appalled when they're mistreated.
Right, now this begs the question, are these creatures alive or are they just part of the game?
The more time you spend with games that simulate real people or critters, the more you can begin to wonder if they're really alive. One game franchise that has raised much debate from its users is the Creatures series from Creature Labs.
A lot of users have actually stated categorically that they believe that the creatures are alive. About 50% of them actually do believe that they're alive, and another 30% aren't really sure. All living things meet certain criteria that qualify them as being alive, and Norns fulfill most of the criteria, and in some cases all of the criteria. Does it metabolize or consume food? Does it respire? Does it reproduce? And does it respond to external stimuli? And our creatures do all of those things.
Oh. Other creatures fitting these criteria are the Sims from Maxis.
We don't quite know what to do with these artificial life forms. As they become more realistic and compelling, some people are inclined to treat them as if they were fully human. I think at the same time, the fascination right now is to test the limits of programming. You know, can we push it in a certain direction and that we don't think the game designer thought of, and then see what happens.
This raises the question of whether a game is always reacting exactly in the way the creators intended.
Basically, I want the games I program to surprise me. And The Sims does that on a daily basis. I see these hilarious things happen that were not explicitly programmed, but they were just a function of these simple rules interacting. You know, that's the really interesting part about it, is the emergent behavior.
No, the Sim is not alive. I don't view it that way, and it's partially because I'm so involved with the numbers and how this game is created and what the system is underneath. So when I look at the Sims as people, I mean, I know what the AI is. I know exactly how they're going to react to different things. So I'm a little bit biased towards looking at them as, you know, programs. They're little programs that run around.
We have a quite infamous user who's been in the community for quite a long time. And originally he began torturing the Norns in a sort of a social experiment. I think that there was a subtext in which he wanted to see how other users reacted to that. Their reaction to that was to send him death threats. So they seemed to think that it was all right to threaten a human being, a live human being, with torture and mutilation and death, whereas a digital creature maybe was, you know, was worth saving.
Well, I think anything we do in that game space right now that may seem abusive from one perspective is simply testing that limit and trying to figure out how realistic an artificial life form can become.
I remember playing The Sims. I decided to drive one of them out into the street and not give her access to food or fun or you know, the bathroom or anything else. And it was emotionally difficult to do it. The character stands in the street crying and is obviously upset, is lacking in social interaction, needs to go to the bathroom, needs to eat, needs to sleep, falls down and passes out in the street and then wakes up and cries some more. And it was just this incredibly distressing thing.
As you're suddenly struck with this creature that behaves as if it was fully human, Our natural inclination is to project onto it other aspects of which we think are essential to being human, and we come up with an ethical set of principles. And that may be ultimately why games are a very useful tool for encouraging ethical discourse among young people, for encouraging them to think about the consequences of violence.
They are autonomous. They have minds of their own. They have qualities that make them quite convincing. And, you know, I don't mistreat my norms. I keep a hold of them, and I take responsibility for them, and I get quite attached to them.
You know, a large community is formed around Norn and sim culture, and if you want to know more about it, just hop online.
Or come to the Extended Play website to find links to get into the discussion yourself.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
On three.
Coming up on Extended Play, not all squirrels are born equal.
Welcome back to Extended Play here amidst the sea of cubicles at Electronic Arts.
Record of Lodos War, while not being very well known in the U.S., is actually considered a classic anime series in Japan.
Well, now a new game has been released based on the characters and story, and while it is an RPG, you'll find that it has a lot more in common with Diablo than Final Fantasy.
Return to life! I am your friend!
Record of Lodos War, Advent of Cardus is an action RPG crafted from the anime series of the same name. You play a great warrior of the past who was resurrected by Wart the Magician to save the land from a dark fate, with courageous warriors like fan favorites Parn and Deedlit by your side. Lodos may be an RPG, but it focuses on action. Each battle happens in real time, often as a full-on melee. Unfortunately, due to a fairly non-existent AI, fighting boils down to a button-mashing fest. Lodos's graphics and sound are nothing special. Aside from the outstanding CG sequences,
oh how amusing,
the environments and characters are a bit bland. There's also an annoying amount of slowdown in a packed battle. Weapon and battle effects are fine, and the rest consists of grunting, groaning, and some very noisy boots. Speaking of grunts and groans, the voice acting is a definite groaner.
Hey, you seem to be fighting against the evil goddess.
Record of Lodos War, Advent of Cardus is a pretty shallow gaming experience that will probably only appeal to fans of the series or members of Button Mashers Anonymous. Extended Play gives Record of Lodos a 2 out of 5.
Despite our problems with Record of Lodos War, Conspiracy Entertainment does deserve some props for bringing that and other Japanese games like Bengayo over to the U.S. Now, our next game may very well be the swan song for the N64, but rarely does one sound as foul-mouthed as this one.
why is it everybody so offensive around here?
Well, there's a reason for it. With Conker's Bad Fur Day, Rare has a game that is definitely not for everyone, but offers a hysterical and challenging take on the platform. The story in the game is flimsy. Conker has a hangover, and he wants to go home.
Oh, no.
The game moves in a linear fashion through various scenarios. This might sound limiting, but it allows for send-ups of movies from The Terminator to The Matrix. Unlike most platformers, Conker's doesn't emphasize collecting. Money is your only reward.
So, you want some great stuff?
The game uses context-sensitive pads that provide Conker with a skill unique to solving the problem at hand.
Okay, soldier, move it out.
The game is focused on its raunchy humor. The drive of the game is to solve the current puzzle to watch the next cutscene, and some of these will provide full belly laughs.
No. What is the world coming to? When a squirrel can't even go to a dinosaur-themed world without getting mugged by a bunch of prehistoric brats.
That doesn't mean that there isn't a real game here. In fact, the platforming and action in Conkers can become quite difficult towards the end. The one serious complaint about the game is the camera. It can make the game far more difficult than it intends to be. The graphics are without comparison on the N64 and go far to realize an adult cartoon universe.
This is pretty neat.
The game is strikingly short, but every moment is wonderfully designed and maintains a non-stop anarchic spirit. If you're of age and want a great time with the game, you couldn't do much better. Extended Play gives Conker's Bad Fur Day a 4 out of 5.
This gig gets worse and worse by the minute.
Now, Conkers does feature a great multiplayer option, but one of the best things to do is get a bunch of your friends together after you finish the game, go back and replay some of your favorite scenes. Personal favorite, the Matrix sequence. Now, Giant Citizen Kabuto is an excellent and gorgeous game, but playing it can really be a beast. Ooh, no offense.
Playing Giants can be a giant task. To help you break it down into bite-sized pieces, press T or Y to activate cheat mode, followed by these codes.
Pills! I need my pills, Mr. Bass! I am very hot.
For full health, please heal me. For infinite mana, I need spells. If you're building a base, speed up construction by typing base go very fast. Giants is hard. Let's go shopping. Open an instant shop by typing gimme gifts.
Coming up on Extended Play, we delve into the perilous life of the bouncer.